Hey y'all, it's me, genuinely black. I am in my head with a million thoughts, as always. But I wanted to talk about childhood trauma. I know it's a redundant statement, but it holds so much weight because that's where the trauma begins in your childhood. A close friend of mine, Sonny Chiba, who is the originator of cinema concepts and is a genius in so many areas of technology, electrical, theater systems. He we always have conversations about different controversial topics, and he told me to listen to a Bill Meyer. So I happened to be scrolling through a couple of his episodes, and I came across an interview he was doing with one of his guests. First name Jonathan, can't remember the last name, but Jonathan's stance on childhood trauma is he believes that the trauma took place after the flip phone era. So while the flip phones was going on, in his mind, he believes that the rates of suicide and depression were not as high as they are now. He mentioned between 2012 and 2015, um, if I got my dates right, similar to this era, but he mentioned that the suicide rate and depression rate had grew in teens. He said that when the iPhones and all of these electronic devices took the attention of youth, it had them as the youth wanting to be isolated, locked in their rooms because they were putting a lot of energy into their electrical computerized devices. So if I understood him correctly, his stance is that that's what drove a lot of teens to want to harm themselves, cutting themselves and putting them in a depressive state of mind with thoughts of suicide. Now, I think differently. Childhood trauma starts at a childhood age. We're going to go with 6, 7, where you are visibly aware of the examples that are being set in front of you. If you have a parent that curses all the time, if you have a parent that refers to you anything other than your name, a parent that talks down to you, makes you feel bad about yourself, that is a foundation of trauma all by itself because you develop as a child, you develop insecurities and lack of self confidence. And when you grow up, you make decisions based on your insecurities and your lack of confidence. So the first person that you come across that tells you that you're pretty or that you're amounting to something is going to grab your attention really fast. But those people don't really have your best interest at heart. They can sense the insecurities that you wear and know exactly how to play on you to get exactly what they need. So that's like the beginning of childhood trauma where it starts with words. Then you have parents, and we're going to strictly go with the mom because the mother is the foundation of trauma because that's where we look to get our love, our nurturing, our comfort, our support is from the mother. That is that divine closeness that we desire as children, and there's an automatic trust that comes with a mom and child relationship. So, whatever example the mother is setting, that is the lesson that child is learning, whether it's good or whether it's bad. when you beat your child, and I'm not talking about regular discipline, I'm talking about physically harming your child to the point where you're leaving marks and welts and cuts and bruises, that is abuse. The same abuse that an adult would call the police for if these things were done to them by their partner or whoever. These are things that will get authorities involved. So if it's wrong or does not feel good when you are an adult, why would you want to put that kind of pressure and pain and hurt and trauma on a child? We are conditioned to believe that I beat you because I love you. No, let's get on with that. Let's remove that because it doesn't even sound right. To say that out loud to a child, I beat you because I love you. Since the fuck when does pain feel good or does love hurt? And so because we have these generational conditioned lessons and thought process, when we get to be of age and we get into abusive relationships, we don't leave right away because this is what love looks like. So childhood trauma starts way before a cell phone, way before a computer, way before anything. It starts actually in the womb of the mom. Because whatever mom is doing while she is pregnant, carrying you, will affect you. We don't think about how we affect children. We don't think about the things that children become when they become adults, the things that they start doing. We never look at the examples that were set in front of this child, how this child was taught. We don't look at that. We blame the child for the trauma that they suffered. If you go back and look at the parents of serial killers, let's go with the Columbine shooting. I'm not going to get into details about their parenting, but just go look at the parenting. Look at the foundation of parenting. Look what examples were set in front of their children by the mother. As parents, we have to take some sort of accountability for our actions, for the examples that we have set. We are not in the clear. Let me tell you about a couple of 911 calls that I get from mothers. Whatever altercation that they're having with their daughter, 11, 12, 13 years old, whatever kind of disagreement that is going on, there is no need to refer to your child as a bitch or a whore, or even need to say, you can get the fuck out of my house. Because where is an 11 or 12-year-old going to go? Get out of your house and go where? Into a life of sex trafficking? Because that's what's going to happen. Because that's what happens. Mothers put their young daughters out for whatever reason. Young girls don't have anywhere to go, so they end up in the arms of a predator who seeks out the vulnerability of the mind of a young girl who does not know any better. She was put out the home by her mother, the person that's supposed to love her unconditionally. She was put out the home is now walking the streets with nothing. And now here comes the savior, the manipulator. Takes her right on into his home. So now this person is conditioning this young girl's mind to operate the way that he sees fit. So now she's doing all type of sex tricks, all type of whatever things that I don't even know, I haven't even done, I can't even pronounce. But they're out here doing it because they need a place to stay, they need food to eat, they need shelter, they need to feel whatever type of love they need to feel just so they can feel good about themselves. Because the mother put them out on the street. But no one's looking at that part. We're just looking at this. Why is this young girl out half dressed walking the streets? She ain't no good. She all up in that man's face. See, we people, humans, pass judgment so quickly and have no idea what the fuck they are talking about. Adults just running their mouths, not offering to assist, not offering a helping hand, some positive words of counsel. You're not doing that. You sitting back with your legs crossed, passing judgment on a situation that you have no idea. But yet, we happy Mother's Day in it the whole month of May. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. What the fuck is so happy about it? When you have young girls and young sons suffering at the hands of a mother who don't give a fuck about you, but yet feel the need to be praised when this little measly holiday comes around. No, ma'am. No, sir. Let's fix and let's undo the generational curse of childhood trauma so that we can raise healthy children that grow up to make wise decisions, children that understand what love actually looks like instead of putting themselves in trauma bonding situations that make them or help them feel good about themselves, because they don't feel good about themselves, because how can they? It upsets me because children did not ask to be here, did not ask to come into a world of confusion, a world that lacks accountability, a world that lacks responsibility. So now you have a vulnerable child coming into the world with a fresh brain that has not been conditioned, that has not been programmed, just a vulnerable brain ready to be taught, ready for the examples to be set, proper examples to be set. But they're not getting that, and then they're getting blamed because they didn't get that. And I think it's quite absurd. So let's really stop blaming every other entity, every other, let's just stop blaming, what do I want to say? Let's just put the blame where it should be. Nobody want to know or hear or listen to the truth. But the truth is, trauma starts in the home. And as soon as we can face that fact, maybe children will have a better chance at a healthy adulthood. I think that's all I got to say right now. But I'll be back. This is Lucid Conversations, y'all. And we're talking about everything open. Transparency is the key to healing on every level. because you have to be honest with yourself. So I'm going to sign off for now, but I'll be back, y'all. Bye, y'all.